Barry, coming in, special teams look like it might be a big factor in this series. Does that end up being, possibly the biggest factor in the series?
Yeah, I think so. You look back at a number of things. I look at this series. They really, the goals in terms of goals for and against were pretty even. It's where the games were won and lost a little bit on the special teams, and I think you talk about missed opportunities, be it special teams or we look back the other night. I mean, it happened on the special teams, and we as a group, I think, learned a lot in this series. I played a very good Chicago team that is, I think they've had aspirations all year of obviously winning Cup, and they're one of the Cup favorites. So they got a real deep lineup, and from our standpoint, we knew the special teams were going to be really important. They are in the playoffs, as you see in every series. And we had some opportunities to get back in games. We had some opportunities to, take momentum in that, and special teams were a real key for that. And that was something, all year that we didn't have high numbers in both, which, we've got to improve that for next year. There's no question.
Coach, we just talked to Sully. He said he felt like it was extra disappointing because he felt the room was so special. You feel the same?
Yeah, someone asked me about all the teams that we've had and been in the playoffs, and we have different growth patterns and different degrees of talent and character, and the room itself this year was a real special room. I can tell you this team, I would play with this team against any other team that we have had so far. It had more character, it had more will, it had a lot of the elements that you want that are going to take us to the next level. And it's been a real painful process for us. We've gone through a lot of adversity the last couple of years between different situations. I don't have to go into them. I think everybody's aware of them. But this group was special because I don't think anybody thought we were going to do much this year. And this group got 100 points. We're resilient when people were out, found ways to win, found ways to get points. Unfortunately that we had Chicago the other night. I wouldn't say we played our best game, but we found a way to be there at the end, and we let it slip away. And as I was saying with this group's learned a lot. We came in this series not feeling like underdogs, and that's a step number one for us. Went in and won a road playoff game, which it starts getting in your head a little bit if you've had not a lot of success, and we should have got two wins on the road. And I felt very confident tonight if we could get tonight, we were going to go in Chicago and win the series, but we didn't. And they've got a good team. I mean, their penalty killing did a real good job against our power play. There's a couple guys on their end. I think Joel probably, I'm sure he mentioned him. Brent Sopel was a shot blocking machine, and they got it done. I'm not going to take anything away from them. We let some opportunities slide in key situations, and unfortunately we're sitting here right now, and we've had a lot of adversity. I mean, the second goal was a prime example of how much adversity can you take after what we went through the other day. In terms of the loss, the guys responded. And this group was special. You saw they didn't quit. They found ways. We were down 3-1. They could have just packed their bags and said, it's not going to happen, and feel sorry for ourselves. We didn't. They found a way to get back in the game, and they scored a power play goal, which ended up being special teams. And in the end, the special teams was strong in their favor.
Barry, going back on the kind of fluke goal that Pekka gave up there, some of the Chicago players are saying they were just as stunned as probably the Predators were. What's going through your mind at that point when it goes up?
It was a fluke goal. I mean, they win the draw, they're dumping it in, and Patrick Kane is trying to jump out of the way, and it hits him in the toe, and totally goes in a different direction on Pekka. And you talk about goal scorers finding a way to score. I mean, that's a prime example. But at that moment you're going, oh, what else can you pile on us right now, emotionally? And one of the things I'll give our guys a lot of credit. They were not emotionally impaired coming into this game. They did a really good job of clearing the mechanism, focusing on this game. I thought we both, talk about the last period in Chicago and this first period here. Talk about, I don't say chaos, whatever you want, words you want. It was wild. It was wild out there, and I think Joel tried to reel his team in. I tried to roll ours in because it was just they were coming out to try to put the dagger in us, and we were determined that they weren't going to do it. And it got real wild out there, but it settled in the second and third. And obviously, you talk about resiliency. See, we had, we took too many penalties, took 5 penalties in the second period, but we didn't, guys dug in, and guys, we were there in the third period, 1 goal out, which we had been in probably, all but 1 game, been behind and found ways to be right there in the end, so, and even win. So, we felt pretty good after 2 periods that we were going to find a way to win, and we had a couple good opportunities. We didn't capitalize again, and we had a couple of power plays because we were doing some good things, and again we weren't able to capitalize. And then that comes back to missed opportunities. We had opportunities to seize the series or seize the game back, and weren't able to do it enough.
Barry, you mentioned the special team struggling all season and in the postseason. Do you feel like you need to make some major changes in the offseason?
Well, we're gonna, before I answer that, I'm gonna probably say that I'll reserve that question for a week or two down the road. Emotionally, I don't think I can answer that question right now. We've put a lot of good work into it, and unfortunately, it's we haven't got the results that we probably want. We had a poor start on the power play. We got it together, but once we had set ourselves in a little bit of a hole at the start, it was hard to climb the rankings. But if you could take the first 10 or 15 games out of there until we got settled in a little bit, it was much better, but not to the point where we're probably happy and the numbers aren't where we want them to be. But it was much better, and our numbers weren't that bad after you take those first 15 games out. So, but we'll have to evaluate everything. I mean, everything from who's on it. I mean, our top guys are on the power play. Maybe we're missing the boat. Maybe we're finding more specific roles for guys and that type of thing. So we'll have to evaluate that. I know on the penalty killing side, a lot of the personnel that was primary penalty killers last couple of years were gone this year. So we had a lot of people that wasn't really a primary role. They were doing some dual roles this year, and that's something that we'll probably have to settle in and say, put a little more importance on a primary role for a penalty killer.